Today is April 20th. It's unofficially known to many as 420 Day, a date widely associated, for whatever reason, with marijuana culture. But new research is adding a sobering warning, especially for teens.
That's right. And the largest study of its kind in the U.S., a UC San Diego researcher says teens who use marijuana show slower development in memory and attention. CBS 8's Richard Allen is live at UC San Diego with what makes this study different and the message it's sending to both parents and kids.
Well, that's right, Steffi. Now, while many studies like this actually rely on teenagers self-reporting their drug use, this study went a step further, also offering toxicological tests, taking hair samples, saliva samples from the teens, offering a more accurate view of teenage cannabis use.
Concerns me is that knowing that adolescence is a sensitive time.
This new long-term study by researchers at the UC San Diego School of Medicine, published just today, now offers the strongest evidence yet that marijuana use is tied to slower progress in memory, focus, and thinking speed.
We've really tried to, as best we can, assess how could cannabis be related to cognition over time.
Natasha Wade is a clinical neuropsychologist and the lead author of this new research, which controlled for factors like prenatal exposure to cannabis or the mental health of the teen.
After all of that, we still see that there's this relationship between patterns of cognitive performance over time and their cannabis use, in that those who are using cannabis aren't showing the same growth or gains as their peers who are not using cannabis.
This study followed more than 11,000 children, starting at age 9 or 10 before adolescence and following them through age 16 or 17, tracking both cognitive performance and substance use. Over time, the rate of improvement in cognitive tests like verbal recall or pattern comparisons was somewhat slower in teens who use marijuana.
If there's even just these minor small changes in their processing speed, in their ability to learn or recall information, when they have to do things for the first time, like respond quickly to that brake light in front of them, right? So they don't get in a car accident. Or when they need to do well on the test so that they can get into the college they want or just graduate, that any of these little changes might actually add up to have real life, long-term outcome differences for them.
Wade says the best advice based on this research is to hold off on cannabis use.
For parents and really for the teens themselves, I think it's just wait. That it may be fine later on. We don't fully have the data on that yet, but what we can say right now is that we know it's riskier.
And this research also showed a specific link between poor memory and THC. That's the primary intoxicating ingredient in marijuana. And while teens who tested positive for this through hair samples, they actually demonstrated the worst memory of anyone on this test. Carlo?
Some very interesting results there, Richard. Now, is this study done, or are there plans to continue it? Are they going to keep following these teens as they grow into young adults?
Well, that's a very interesting question. So they started this study when these children were actually 9 or 10 years old. These teens are now in their late teens. They would like to continue studying them. They're actually applying for additional funding from the National Institutes of Health. They'd like to extend this to answer even more complex questions about cannabis use. They'd like to see this study go on for the next 5 or 10 years, if possible.
Yeah, greater understanding helpful for parents and for young people who are thinking about using marijuana. Richard Allen reporting for us. Thanks, Richard.